and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, April 16th. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, when you get to the microphone, give us your name and address. Call the roll, please.
Cedar.
Here.
Ellery.
Here.
Kinsfather.
Here.
Kleeman. Kufa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
McCartney.
Here.
Motion to excuse member Kleeman. Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Number 4, consent agenda, City Council minutes, April 2nd, 2018, regular meeting. Recommendation approved.
So moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a presentation tonight of the 16-17 annual audit presentation. Bill Tucker is here. Mr. Tucker, welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bill Tucker from Stevens, Kervick & Tucker. I'm here tonight to present to you the audited financial statements for September 30th, 2017. Quickly, just kind of walk through the information that was handed out to you in your packets, and then the one document that I handed out to you tonight as well. So in your packets for you, you had the bound reports, the September 30th, 2017 bound financial statements. Within the bound financial statements, you'll find all the necessary financial statements and note disclosures to be in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Also within this document, you'll find the independent auditor's report, which is the document that provides our opinion on those financial statements as well. So all that is within this document for you. There was also one loose letter. This is what we consider to be our board communication letter. A majority of this board communication letter is boilerplate language. It does go through and address some of the more significant estimates for such things as useful life of capital assets, actuarial studies for your pension and your other post-employment benefit plans. All those are significant estimates within the financial statements. So all that is within that document. And then the last item that I had for you was the audit presentation outline. So this is the document that I handed out for you tonight. Put together a couple of pages out of the financial statements in the audit presentation, and also include a couple graphs and charts for you as well. So this is the document that I'll be going through during my presentation with you tonight. Before I get started as well, I want to take a second and thank Mike and the rest of the staff for their courtesy and cooperation throughout the audit process. We really do appreciate all of their hard work throughout that process, so thank you very much. All right, the first page that we're going to turn to in the audit presentation is the independent auditor's report, and that is on page Roman numeral number 1. The purpose of an audit is to provide an opinion as to the fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It's not to detect fraud, and it's not to give you an opinion on your internal controls. Within the independent auditor's report, we're providing our opinion on your financial statements. We're actually giving our opinion on the 10 opinion units of the city. Those 10 opinion units are described in the first paragraph, and they are the governmental activities, the business type activities, the aggregate discretely presented component units, each major fund, in which there are 6 major funds in the current year. Those were the general fund, the major street fund, the local street fund, the sewer fund, the water fund, and the harbor fund. And then the last opinion unit is the aggregate remaining fund information. Our opinion on each of those 10 opinion units is at the top of the second page in the paragraph that's labeled opinions, in which it states, on our opinion, based on our audit and the report of other auditors, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. That's what we consider to be an unmodified or clean opinion, and that's the best opinion you can receive on your financial statements. All right. From there, I'm going to turn to the very next page, which is page number 1 of the financial statements. Page number 1 is your statement of net position at September 30th, 2017. This is a snapshot of your assets, deferred outflows of resources, liabilities, deferred inflows of resources, and net position at that date, at September 30th, 2017. This is presented on the full accrual basis of accounting, just like a business, so it includes your capital assets, your long-term debt, and your net pension liability of the city. The one number that I wanted to point out to you on this page, and I've kind of talked about it the last couple years with you, is the net pension liability of the city. I've highlighted that on this page for you. In total, your net pension liability at September 30th is $9,917,000. I provide just a little bit more information about that net pension liability on the very next page. This comes from page 46 of the financial statements. But really it gives you an idea of kind of the breakdown of how we get to that $9.9 million. So it starts off at the top there with your total pension liability. So there's total pensions outstanding of $21.9 million. You currently have funded with MERS, the planned fiduciary net position of $12 million that's currently funded for pensions, leaving you with that net pension liability of $9.9 million. That's currently funded at about 55%. That's a little bit lower than what we're seeing across the board for other municipalities in the state. I'm seeing an average anywhere between 65 and 70% is kind of being the average of the norm. There also has been a Public Act 202 of 2017, that there's going to be reporting of the net pension liability and also the other post-employment benefit information to the state of Michigan. Anything below 60 for pensions, funded-wise, and then anything below 40% for other post-employment benefits, you're going to have to come up with a plan of how to get above those percentages and get those plans funded. The other thing that I wanted to point out to the council is currently within the financial statements, we're talking about the net pension liability. You also have an other post-employment benefits liability that's outstanding as well. It's about $3.6 million approximately. That number, starting in 2018 with GASB statement number 75, that will be reported in the financial statements starting next year, that total liability for other post-employment benefits. So just wanted to make council aware of that is something that will be newly presented in the financial statements starting next year. Yes, sir.
Would you like questions as we go or at the end? How do you?
Right now it's fine. That'd be
Right.
good.
So like the last 5 or 6 years, Bill, this pension thing is just on everybody's mind.
Sure,
across
yes,
the state.
definitely.
And each time we do this, we talk about it and what can we do, and we always go into our negotiations with our unions, which come up next fall again, and it's a very tenuous situation, looking for, concessions, help, and all that. Is there anything else going on across the state that you see that people are doing that we can learn from and utilize? Because we're doing the other part.
Right. Trying to think if there's, there has been a couple of municipalities that have bonded for paying off their pension liability. So that has only happened in probably 2 or 3 communities in the whole state. So they've, looked at that cost benefit analysis and figured out that their percentage that they'd be paying on those bonds would be, the benefit there was going to be greater. The only other thing that I really see happening is, when municipalities have funds available, they are throwing as much at those liabilities as they possibly can. Really, that's been the biggest thing that I've seen happen in the last 4 or 5 years. As these new GASB statements have really brought pensions and other post-employment benefits to the forefront, I've seen communities putting more money towards those.
Thank you.
Other than that, there really hasn't been a big change in how they're handling those pensions. Okay. Any other questions related to pensions or OPEB before we move forward? Okay. All right, let's move to the very next page in the audit presentation. The very next page that you're going to turn to is the governmental funds balance sheet. This is on page number 3 of the financial statements. The governmental funds balance sheet is presented on the modified accrual basis of accounting. So this is the level that you're used to. I guess the level that you're adopting your budgets at is that modified accrual basis of accounting. The governmental funds balance sheet is a snapshot of your assets, liabilities, deferred inflows of resources, and fund balance at September 30th, 2017. Focusing on the general fund, the far left column, as that is the main operating fund of the city. We like to look at a couple financial indicators on this page. The numbers that we like to look at, I've highlighted for you there. Starting off with the second to last number at the far left column of total fund balance of $4,417,100. Jeez. Portions of that fund balance are considered to be non-spendable. So you have amounts that are sitting there that are prepaid expenses, so that's reducing the amount of fund balance that's available for expenditures in future periods. The amount that's available for expenditures in future periods is your assigned and your unassigned fund balances, that $2,195,000 and the $1,946,000. Those dollar amounts added together equate to $4,141,405 that is available for expenditures in future periods. This dollar amount represents approximately 117% of your annual operating expenses. Our recommendation there is that we like to see obviously a minimum of 15 to 20% sitting there in fund balance. So obviously you guys are well above that recommended minimum. And that number did go up slightly from last year. So last year you're about 109% in fund balance compared to your annual operating expenses. So obviously a very healthy fund balance for your general fund. All right, from there we'll turn to page number 5 of the financial statements. Page number 5 is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for the year ended September 30th, 2017. So this is the activity for the 2017 fiscal year. Starting off the top of the page with your total revenues, you had total revenues within your general fund of $4,111,584. That was an increase of approximately $54,000 or 1.3% compared to 2016. The main areas that we saw fluctuations within your revenues was within your intergovernmental revenues. Those were up about $46,000 compared to the previous year. The main component of that was your state revenue sharing went up compared to last year. Also, you had a couple of public safety grants for OWI and seatbelts in 2017 as well that you didn't have in the previous year. So a little bit increase there in intergovernmental revenues. Moving down the page to your total expenditures within the general fund, you had total expenditures of $2,982,082. That was an increase of approximately $76,000 or 2.6% compared to 2016. We saw increases within your expenditures of approximately $30,000 within general government, public safety, and public works. We're all up approximately about $30,000, and a lot of that was related to increases in wages and or additional positions filled within there. So a lot of that had to do with salaries and wages within those three departments. Results for the year, the third number up from the bottom, the net change in fund balance, you add to your fund balance in the dollar amount of $518,721 in 2017. All right, from there I have a couple graphs and charts for you. The first chart there is a 5-year analysis of your general fund revenues, expenditures, and fund balance. As you can see from this chart, your revenues have exceeded your expenditures in each of the last 5 years. So the blue line has exceeded the red, the expenditures. And then you can see that trend in your fund balance over the last 5 years, that positive trend with that increasing and being higher than your expenditures in 2017. The last two charts I have for you, this is the composition of your general fund revenues and expenses. The top chart is a pie chart for your general fund revenues. Making up the largest component of your revenues within the general fund is your property tax revenues at 70% of your total revenues coming in to the city within the general fund. The bottom chart there is your general fund expenditure composition. Making up the largest piece of the pie there is your public safety expenditures at 30% of your total expenses. Second largest piece of the pie there is other financing uses, and third largest is your general government expenditures. All right. That's all I had within my audit presentation. Did anybody have any questions related to what I went over or anything else they saw within the financial statements?
So, Bill, other than the pension liability, which we know we have to continue working on stringently, how do we compared to the other places you do?
Well, I think obviously you guys have a really good, healthy fund balance for the city. And also, the other thing I didn't really touch on, but if you ever did have any comments and recommendations, if you had internal control, material weaknesses, or significant deficiencies, we would go over those. We've had a very good clean audit the last couple of years, and we didn't have any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses that we noted within the procedures, the policies. Everything was very clean, so very good audit for the city.
Yeah, I'm not meaning compare us to other people, but I do think Mike Booth does a great job, and I just want to give him kudos. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's the way to do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything for Mr. Tucker?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go number 6, proclamation designating April 27th, 2018 as Arbor Day. City of St. Clair is a Tree City, USA for the 20th year. Whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was the first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoils by wind and water, cutting heat and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and whereas the City of St. Clair has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the 20th year and desires to continue its tree planting ways, now therefore I, Bill Cedar Jr., by the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of St. Clair, I do here proclaim April 27th, 2018 as Arbor Day in the City of St. Clair. I urge all citizens to support efforts to care for trees and woodlands and to support our community forestry programs. April 27th. Good job, City of St. Clair. 20 years in a row. Thank you, Annette.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right. We'll go to number 7, ordinance and resolution 1807, 50th anniversary of SEMCOG. Is that you, Annette, or is that me?
That would be you to read the resolution to acknowledge the 50th anniversary, please.
All right. So this is a resolution honoring the 50th anniversary of the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. Whereas the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments was formed in 1968 as a volunteer council of governments for Southeast Michigan, and whereas the 7-county Southeast Michigan region includes Livingston, Macomb, Monroe, Oakland, St. Clair, Washtenaw, and Wayne counties, and whereas at the time SEMCOG was formed, it had 59 charter members, and today SEMCOG has more than 170 members, including cities, villages, townships, intermediate school districts, community colleges, in all 7 counties. Whereas SEMCOG promotes informed decision-making to improve Southeast Michigan and its local governments, providing insightful data, analysis, and direct assistance to member governments, promoting the efficient use of dollars for infrastructure investment and governmental effectiveness, developing regional solutions that go beyond the boundaries of individual local governments, advocating on behalf of Southeast Michigan, Lansing, and Washington. And whereas through the regional planning, training, and assistance to member governments and public outreach, SEMCOG supports efficient management and improvement of public infrastructure, less traffic congestion, better traffic safety, better air quality, business growth, and entrepreneurship, and educating the region's workforce and connecting people to jobs. Therefore, be it resolved, the City Council of the City of St. Clair commemorates the 50th anniversary of SEMCOG, which is being celebrated at the SEMCOG General Assembly on March 22nd at Macomb Community College, and the SEMCOG General Assembly on June 28th at Little Cedars Arena, and wishes the organization continued success for many years to come. Resolution declared adopted, but I guess we'll ask, we need to vote on that.
A little wordy, sorry.
Yeah, they probably want to vote not to let me read stuff anymore. Okay, I'll need a motion to,
Support.
all right, the motion made, supporting questions? Call the roll, please.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Koopa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Adopted, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Reports of administration, Mr. Booth.
Your Honor, I have 2 items, and then I would just like to do a little follow-up from the audit presentation in regards to the pension. Mr. Tucker had referenced a change to GASB and what's required to go on our financial statements. First of all, I'd like to say the unions have worked with us in the last couple contracts, and we've made changes, and those changes have helped. Obviously, you're not going to change it overnight, but the thing that the state has done recently is historically we had funds that would dip into a deficit position, and when that happened, we had to put together a plan to get ourselves back on even ground. And essentially, with the changes at the state level, that's what they're doing with the pension and with the OPEB. They're going to say, city, you need, if you're not funded to 60% on the pension, you need to put together a plan. And I guess where I'm going with that is, you'll see that in front of you here probably within the next quarter. I'm working on it currently. And we'll have to, again, put together a plan, and basically it'll be, we're going to contribute more money and make additional changes to the plans where possible. So I just want to point that out. That is kind of happening. It's not something that's going to be a year or 2 years down the road. It's coming soon. Okay, and the 2 items I have, brush pickup has been changed from Friday to Monday. The thought there was a lot of people do their weekend work and then it sits there all week. This way, if they do their weekend work, and it can be picked up on Monday and not Friday. So, and then,
Yeah, the website has not yet been updated. The only change to the schedule will be the day, so the sections of the city will remain the same. Again, it will just be on Mondays instead of Fridays, and I will have that as soon as possible.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. The other item I had was at Cargill Point, Cargill Salt replaced the lights. They paid to put in some new LED lighting, so I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Most people don't probably go down there, or maybe don't pay them, real close attention to that, but Cargill did pay to replace the lights there. And they look better, Mike?
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions from Mr. Booth? Mr. Downey, you have anything tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Yes, any city departments?
Yes, Your Honor, just one more thing to note about the brush schedule. Understanding there will be a learning curve. If brush is sitting out there for quite a while, please call the DPW directly. 329-5277, I believe, but check that number on the website as well. Thank you.
The authorities, boards, commissions, committee chairs, council reps.
Councilor Rep, what do you, is it for us to talk about anything we want, or does that should wait till toward the end of the deal? I guess why I bring that up is we've talked about this for several years now, and we've not gotten anywhere with it. And I think the last time we mentioned these tablets for city council, we wanted to make sure that the city went through their software and hardware upgrade. So we put that off again, but it's to the point where we've gotten all this information handed to us on an email attachments, and it's very difficult for us to print this or read it, and I think it's time that we got ourselves tablets for city council. And if you need that in a motion format, I'd like to put that in one.
Are you saying you want to make a motion to actually purchase them, or
Yeah, I
direct
think it's
administration
time
to
that
look into to see what
the
costs
city
more or less?
administration purchase the tablets for city council. Just too much information that we're looking at to glean.
I think the last time we talked about it, we asked Mr. Booth to run cost comparison of the paper documents and the cost of the tablets, and at that time, there wasn't that much of an advantage to it. I mean, I'm all in favor of better communication, but unless there's a financial, do you have the funds, Mike? Probably not.
If you're asking me to look at it again, I can do that.
Was
Yeah, I
that
think
your
I'd like to see what it's gonna
We-
cost for,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like to get it off the dead
Yeah.
center.
Just so you know,
Get it going.
we are in the process of adding two TVs here. The price has come down. We've looked historically at putting a projector up and doing something different than what we currently have, so we could present, and then the audience could see, the information better. But we have two TVs coming. There's gonna be one on each end, and that'll be a first step, and then maybe we can tie that in with the, looking at the tablets. I guess the question there will be, how many people have access to Wi-Fi and can get emails
Well,
from
it's
us?
2018. I mean, I think if people want to serve the communities and have access to things, it's 2018. I mean, it's just time. I must throw a box of city paper away or take it to a shredder every month from different committees I'm on, especially, I mean, like tonight, and then storing these budgets. It'd be nice to have them on electronic format where I'm not sitting on the last 8 years of budgets, city charter, zoning changes,
plan?
planning changes. And I think that's what I'm saying, as far as making it efficient.
So did you need a motion to direct administration, or it's just understood?
I don't think I need a motion for that.
Okay.
All right. All right.
I've been asked.
Been asked. Anybody else? All right. We have no unfinished business. Let's go to new business number 10, schedule public hearing for M29 road diet. Net?
Yep. As Jill mentioned at the special meeting, part of the process for the M29 road diet is a public hearing, which it will be in a town hall style. It is recommended for this hearing to be scheduled for Wednesday, May 2nd, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Make a motion to approve.
Support?
Motion made, supported. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That'll be May 2nd, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in these chambers.
Correct.
B, schedule ZBA public hearing for St. Clair Coney Island variance requests. Annette?
Yes, this public hearing request is to revisit the variances that were previously granted for the St. Clair Coney Island project. Those variances have expired, and the applicant needs to go through the same process to get those back in front of council's attention. This public hearing is recommended for Monday, May 7th at 6:30.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions?
Is this for Ted's Coney Island?
Yes.
Yes.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. C, public hearing for 2019 annual budget. Mr. Booth.
The city's first draft of the 2018-19 fiscal year budget will be provided to council at the May 7th meeting. I'm asking for a budget hearing for the following meeting, which will be on May 21st.
I'd move that to have that meeting.
I'll support it.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll go to D, special events permit, St. Clair Chamber of Commerce Beer and Wine Festival. Chief?
Yes, I've received the application from the chamber for their annual beer and wine festival, and all the paperwork is complete, so I recommend.
Make a motion to approve this permit.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And,
Okay, Chief, we got the permit for the application for 4th of July fireworks display.
yep, and all those are in order, so.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Sorry.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
These next ones aren't mine, are they?
No.
No,
Thank you, Chief. F, approve assignment of vendor permit process for Beer and Wine Fest, 4th of July and Jazz Festival St. Clair events. Annette?
Yes, Your Honor. This is the assignment of vendor permit process for special events that would allow an increase to the vendor application fee. The St. Clair Beer and Wine Fest, the 4th of July fireworks event, and the St. Clair Jazz Festival. It's recommended that the city assign these events to the vendor process to St. Clair Events, which is a local organization. to be in compliance with the applicable sections of the city code.
So moved. It's the same thing we've done in years past.
Correct.
All right, motion's made and supported. Is there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to G, extend vendor hours on 6/9/18 and 7/4/18 for special events. Net.
The current ordinance, vendor hours state that they end at 9 PM. I am requesting an extension of those hours for the two events listed to be extended until the end of those events, one which is 10 PM, which is the St. Clair Beer and Wine Fest, and approximately 11 PM for the fireworks.
Make a motion to support or approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Claims and accounts, number 11, April 6th, April 13th, 2018.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
All right, motion's made and supported. Is there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to number 12. Any public comments, any public questions this evening? All right, we'll go to number 13. I have a couple of things here. Here's some good information. Thursday, April 19th at 7 PM and Friday, April 20th at 1 PM at the St. Clair Museum. It's the Edmund Fitzgerald with Frater Frank. Donation $6, students are free. That's Thursday, April 19th at 7 PM, Friday, April 20th at 1 PM. Mrs. Boda, you got anything to add to that?
Hopefully we get a good turnout, but here's Fraser Frank.
Yeah, good luck. Next thing, salmon steaks is April 28th,
Yep, Saturday the 28th.
and the Little League Parade is May 5th, 9 o'clock from the high school to the Little League Park, obviously, out in Fenimore Highway. Does anybody else have anything?
I just want to confirm that DPW phone number is 329-5277.
Thank you.
There's nothing else, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Be careful going home.